Sonny and Theo are saved just as the River Boys are captured. Theo moves out permanently, spooking Leah in the process. Mac opens up to Levi about her past pregnancy experience, and Abby attempts to leave town.
I hope Archie's being good. He can get really fussy at this time of night. Sorry, I'm not meant to be our night. Tell me to get a life.
No, you have a life. You're just a good mum. I'm just distracted.
Hey, I get it. It's hard to let go of what could have been. But I'm sure there's plenty more sensible, non-criminally associated fish in the sea.
You love saying that, don't you?
What about the hospital? Anyone cute there?
At my workplace? No. Also, that's where Sonny and I got to know each other. So if anything, it's just a constant reminder.
I think you're being a bit dramatic.
Maybe I am. But also, I'm starting to feel like I can't escape him.
Don't turn around.
Why?
I said don't turn around.
Why? Is he here? Is he coming over? He's coming over, isn't he? He's obsessed with me or something. What's his problem?
That's a relief. So, what about the surf club? Anyone hot at the surf club? Dana.
What? No. Have you seen our uniforms?
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast. Your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Oh, the gorgeous ones are the worst.
They are. They're the trouble ones. They are the worst.
Troublemakers,
And you
yes.
can't get them out of your head.
No, or from under your skin.
Oh, yeah.
Anything within your sheets. Are you okay?
I'm all right. Are you?
Not too bad. Thank you. Back again.
Yes.
Back again.
Roasting. Roasting hot still. There we go.
I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Well, by the time this goes out, I think it's meant to be overcast and possibly a bit rainy. But right now, it's about 20 million degrees hot.
Brr, if there's a blizzard. There we go. How are you? Are you okay?
I think so. Surviving.
You made it. You made it.
Made it. Yes. Oh dear. How was home and away for you this week?
How was home and away for me this week?
Yes.
That's not how this goes.
I know, we're trying to get in there first.
Oh, not too bad. I think it definitely lighter after.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll get to the resolution on the old River Boy stuff. So that was obviously at the start of the week, nice and sort of. I think what happened was I was left a bit dissatisfied with that resolution. So I went into the next few episodes like, ugh. And then there was some the Kirby stuff I can live without. So yeah, and then I think Dana saved it towards the end. So I've had a bit of a roller coaster with the show this week, I must say. Yeah. How about you?
Pretty much the same. I think, I needed the light relief of John. John being made to squirm about the registrar stuff. I enjoyed that because it was just like, I needed something John related to take my mind off all the other stuff that's happening. Wasn't that bothered about the Kirby stuff. Wasn't that bothered about the Marley and Ab stuff. Doesn't float my boat. Doesn't hold my attention. I'll be honest. So.
Do you know what's fascinating? The Marley and Ab stuff during that sort of middle part of the week actually stood out to me as something that, but is that because the rest of the stuff around it was, quite humdrum that that for me ended up being the driving storyline in the middle eps. And we'll get onto it because I'm sure you've thoughts. I know I've definitely got thoughts on what's gone down. And considering last week we came down on different sides, really, didn't we?
We do that with these pair, unfortunately. Yeah. Although I wasn't taking a side last week. I think they were both bloody awful last week. I'll be honest.
So I can't wait to find out whether that's changed. I can't wait. It's been a busy old week for the pod as well. So It's out there, it's launched, it's finally here. Coastal News Investigates. You've got 5 episodes now out there, ready to binge. If you haven't done so already, go check them out. We've been talking to the actor with Ali Harris, the early years with the old gang. We've been discussing and talking about the filming location of our favourite Aussie soap, Home and Away, based on our behind-the-scenes experience touring Palm Beach, lifetime ago now. We've been chatting to a fan in Mr. David, who's a regular on Your Say on the Bay. It was great to have him on the pod and chat. Fantastic episode. And also, we had our own grilling as the hosts, didn't we, about the last 12 months and all things pod. And we've had a great warm reaction, people getting in touch, saying they really enjoyed it and loved hearing our insights and just knocking that fourth wall down. So that's there for you whenever you like. Go and check it out. Link in the episode description of this and every future episode, I'm assuming. And there's more to come. There are things in the works. This is just the beginning. But so far, so good. And thank you for listening if you have done so already. Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Very.
Shall we talk about this week's Home and Away then?
Go on then, as soon as we're here.
So, the start of the week, you'll remember we're out in the bush. Theo's God knows what he's doing on the floor. We don't quite know where everybody is. Where are the river boys? How have they got there? Where are the bodyguards? We had many a question last week, didn't we? So we tuned in eagerly on Monday to find some answers.
We're still waiting.
Harper's, we meet, don't we? Harper's laying it to Dana, who has now made it back to town, and obviously they've got to give statements and things, haven't they? As they've been picked up roadside by Cash on the Friday. And Sonny and Theo, well, they're just trying to work out how they're going to survive the bush. They seem to have been dumped. Cash is waiting on this blooming phone tracking, which seems to be quite a catalyst for tension that sort of, again, just ends up as a bit of a damp squid at the end, because it seems to be a real big thing about this phone. And when Sonny eventually finds the phone in the van and makes a phone call, that seems to expedite the tracking. It wasn't really very well planned through, I don't think. That and I found that quite crucial to the plot. This phone, and it was what was preventing them from being discovered before the River Boys. It was, are the River Boys going to get there, or we're going to find out where this phone is first? And I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't Sonny saying, yeah, this is my location because I phoned you. Actually, the phone making a phone call meant that the tracking came through immediately. I don't get that. No. Could you track it or not? Do you know? I could put too much emphasis on it.
I don't know. I don't understand mobile phone signals either, so I don't really understand. From what I gather from other shows that I watch, the phone has to be on and have a signal, and then when it's on and has a signal and something happens, like a text message comes through, or they use it for any reason, it sends a ping to the nearest cell tower, like the nearest phone tower, and then that can be traced. That ping can be traced.
But is it slower to trace it if it doesn't make a phone call? That's what I don't get. Surely it's pinging anyway.
There's some pinging that this is why I don't fully understand this, but there's some pinging that happens as part of just having a phone on, and then there's other ones that, like, because you're using it because you've got a text message, or because you're sending a text message, or
different pings.
It's easier to trace, I believe, but that's just from watching other TV shows. That it's probably bullshit science. I've got no idea. I have no idea.
I mean, for me, I'd have been a bit more thingy with it if Cash just went, drop a pin, I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because otherwise, what have we done stood around if you could just track it that easily?
Yeah, I don't really get it, but we're there.
Lee, thank you. Just accept it, go. Lacey's warning Cash, if you don't get there, you know, and Gage is convicted, that he isn't, you know, or he isn't, you know, he gets out. he will kill them.
Well,
45 seconds later.
I think either way they're going to be in trouble, aren't they? Because she was saying if Gage goes down for this while they're still there, they're going to die. And I was thinking, yeah, but if he walks, he's going to kill them himself, surely.
Yeah, I'm going to say, yes. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't at this stage, aren't you? You're involved. And he seems to be able to call shots from inside anyway, so that wouldn't even him being convicted wouldn't help me sleep at night anyway,
no,
I must say.
Yeah.
Anyway, Leah's arrived. And she's all, you didn't listen to me, you should have stayed away. And yeah, it all just gets quite heightened. And I'm getting into the moment in this point. The episode felt really well paced and quite high stakes. But little did we know that basically that everything starts. I don't know whether this is going to mean something later on, but when Cash gets the call on the traced phone call, he knows where they are. He's going to go up there. Tane goes, hang on, I'll get in the car with you. Like, okay. Okay, right. He takes him up there and then gets out of the car, and we have Karatane, which is always a good fun.
I like
that. You don't know how. By running up to that, coming out, making sure it came out right. So, which we've seen before, just jujitsu them all, job done, lock them up. Yeah. I was like, what?
He just comes out and does a Chuck Norris on him and just goes bang, bang, bang. Yeah. And they're all lying on the floor, in pain, like, oh, been kicked.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Cash has gone to the most notorious gang in the area in the secluded bush, knowing they've got injured hostages who are in danger, on his own with a civvy.
Yeah.
No backup.
And he was like, I'll call for backup on the way. And I was like, right.
I know he had his hand on his gun. I was thinking, just tase them all, man. My God.
Yeah.
What the hell was this all about?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I think I have overanalyzed this in the shower, as I do. But I think the whole point of this was that Cash needed to turn up for them all to be there and for them all to be committing a crime that he can see with his own eyeballs. No witnesses required because the police have seen it all. And then that means we can throw all of them in prison and, that's the end of the storyline. Because otherwise, if Cash hadn't turned up, there'd be more, you have to testify. Which ones was it? Did you see their faces? He's arrested them all on the spot for kidnapping and ambushing the car on the way to the court and probably perverting a course of justice and all that other stuff that he'll probably throw at them later. That was the point of this. It was just to make sure we get all of them at the same time and throw them in prison so that then Sonny and Theo can go back to the bay and do that whole, we don't need the bodyguards anymore because
without
they're all
a repercussion.
In jail. Yeah. I mean, I don't fully believe that anyway, because we've seen for weeks now, Gage's crew, and there's loads of them. There's way more than what was been arrested.
Oh, I know. It's like COVID-19, this lot. Spreader.
They seem to just breed. And overnight there's a whole load more River Boys that have been...
And they are with a new leader, doesn't make sense. Do you know... And we've still got all these questions. Why did the River Boys dump them, leave them, go back to find them?
I don't get that.
Other than them do a Yui in the road because Gage got convicted and now it's become a revenge thing. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That wasn't explicit.
It wasn't explained, but again, I've been overthinking this. So I was like, was the original plan just as it said nobody testifies? That was the original plan, wasn't it? So nobody testifies means we just dump them in the middle of nowhere, make sure they can't get to court easily, make sure they can't testify, etc. Then did the River Boys then go to court to support Gage? Rather than just dump them somewhere and then get to court because it's happening now, so that we can be there to support him when he needs us or whatever. And then obviously when they get to court, the quickest trial that's ever been had. I don't know how long these guys were kidnapped for, but it seemed like maybe 2-3 hours tops. And in that time, we've had Lacey testify, we've had Gage convicted, and we've had the River Boys presumably return to then enact justice.
It must have been a unanimous jury.
Wow, I've never known justice like it. Sorry, I'll be honest. I was on the jury for a case years ago now, probably when I was about 19. Or 20, I can't remember, a long time ago. And it was a very, very uncomplicated case. And it took 5 days to hear all the evidence. And there wasn't anywhere near as much stuff as what happened in this storyline. So, Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of snacking and a lot of hanging around the courtroom, I'll be honest. But it took 5 days to hear the whole bloody case. I was like, how have they done this in a morning? It's obviously the swiftest. I mean, I don't understand the Aussie legal system at all, but it's obviously very swift.
Well, not if Home and Away is our only reference, really.
It is,
Let's
to be honest. It is, I'll be honest. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, no wonder you don't understand it. Yeah, so I think the general consensus of this, because this seems to be I've put like a bit of an end to this river boy ending, and we've now got Lacey in the bay. It seems to have been a little bit of a disappointing end to what was actually quite a chaotic, exciting storyline.
And I don't think it needed much to fill in some of the gaps either. I don't think we needed many more scenes or many more kind of like even explanations. Just a couple of people having a chat saying, "Oh, this happened or that happened," or even if it's not seen on screen, just an explanation of what happened would have been nice. I mean,
yeah,
I think we would still be moaning about that because the problem with this storyline, it's been going on for quite a long time and it has been quite exciting, and then it feels very, very rushed at the last minute. Which makes it like, oh, I was watching that and I was enjoying it, and now you've just wrapped it up in an hour, and I'm not sure what to think anymore.
Yeah,
and I could forgive them for doing that if the rest of the week was fire. If the rest of the week was like, okay, we had to wrap it up quickly because this has started now and this is like really exciting, or this is where the drama is, or whatever. But it's just felt like they've wrapped it up, and then all we've seen since then is Kirby on a keyboard and Marley and Abby arguing, and it's like, oh, really? Could we not have dragged out the Riverboys a bit longer to make all of this drudgery a bit more interesting?
Yeah, and you're right, and it could have just been peppered into even just a few more episodes, just to give it a little bit more justice.
It didn't need much more, I don't think.
No,
there was just a few little plot holes that could have been easily filled with a little bit of extra attention, I think.
Yeah, I think when I reflect on the whole storyline, I did enjoy it. It just didn't end how I thought. It probably would be my brief assessment.
Yeah. I'm glad we saw the rescue though, because we didn't see, obviously, when Sonny and Theo were in peril last time, and Sonny was on the floor, and
that's true.
Theo was underneath the car. Theo this time was lying by a car, but we saw them actually get rescued this time, and we saw them. Then we didn't go, like, Theo was bleeding, and we didn't go to hospital and get stitches checked or anything. Like, there's loads of little things that were just missed, you know, that you could just go, what about this though? What about that? What about the other? Just a little bit sloppy at the end.
Completely agree. And I think it felt keen for them to get on to whatever was next, you know, Lacey integrating and all the rest of it. It was just sort of rushing on to that, which I understand it. I'm used to it with Home and Away. That's how it always goes. But yeah, I wasn't ready to move on yet. I was enjoying it. I've seen a bit of feedback about this sort of iteration of the River Boys, and about them just being pure thugs. And a lot of people are sort of seeing it as not complicated guys on the wrong track, had a bad time of life and ended up finding, you know, brotherhood or whatever. Like, these guys just seemed completely thuggish, and I do see that an assessment, really, because we don't know so much about them. They were just a device, really, to get Lacey in the bay, weren't they, really? So I've seen a few comments of people haven't really enjoyed this time round, even though it's been danger, rock and roll.
You can understand that though, can't you? Because I guess everyone's comparing them to River Boys of old, and I think everyone unanimously agrees that they're better than the River Boys from last year, better than Rory and Dingo, because they didn't really do anything. They just kind of sat around on a car and drank beer. They didn't really, apart from kill a cop off screen, we didn't really know how bad they were. But obviously, you are going to compare them to the Braxtons, and the Braxtons and Dean as well. Very complicated. You know about their moms, you know about their upbringing. If we got to know Gage, if we'd understood why Gage was how he was, or Spanner or Diesel or one of the other ones that have got a strange name, if we'd understood them a bit more, would that have made it more interesting to people that didn't enjoy it? I don't know.
I don't know. And then again, we'd need more time. Perhaps there was some constraint. So which is interesting, isn't it? How people
definitely
take some of their other way. Now, we quickly end up back in the bay, and Sonny has been summoned to meet Dana. And this is an interesting one because while this was all going down and Dana's back in the bay worried sick, Harper is going absolutely nuts at her, saying, "Listen, look at this. You know, you've done this once before. History repeating itself. Is this what you really want? Do you really know this guy?" And she's got into her ear, hasn't she? And when he sort of Sonny comes back to the bay, and the first thing he does is run to Dana, really, on that beach. That scene that we saw when we were there. You know, the first thing he wants to do is run to her and tell her it's all over. I'm free. Like, you know, like it's the first person he wanted to see, wasn't it? More or less after he got out of the police station.
Yeah.
And she's all there because she's had a Harper in her ear for 3 days or 3 hours or however long the timeline was. She's at it. Look, I don't know you. He's like, well, you know, I'll get to know you. She's like, no, I can't do this. We're over before we've begun. And she sort of leaves it at that, doesn't she? And at this point, I was like, what? This was just heating up, girl.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Harper had got in her ear, wasn't she? Basically got in her head and changed her mind, which I can kind of see it. So last week when she was giving her the third degree about Sonny and everything else, I was like, she has got a point. Like Dana's, I don't agree with everything that Dana's done so far. I don't agree that she's put herself in the firing line so much and put herself on the radar of the River Boys. And then gone back after she's been threatened in the surf club. She's then gone back and got in the car on the way to the courthouse, and she's made some daft decisions. But this is in her nature. She's done it before. There's been a man in the past that's got her into trouble. You know, that was the whole reason why she came to the bay. And I do agree with Harper on that point, but I hated agreeing with her because I was like, come on, lady, like you live in a glass house. Like, how well did you know Tani when you got knocked up? How well did you know Tani when you got engaged? How well did you know Tani when this happened and that happened and that happened? And then obviously, you know, she cancelled her wedding on the morning of. You know, she's not Mrs. Romance, is she? She doesn't, you know, I wouldn't take relationship advice off Harper. Let's put it that way.
No, same. You took the words out my mouth, so really am. Do you know what else bugged me as well? I can sort of understand. It's your sister. You're close. You know. It's been you and Dana against the world. You know. You feel protective of her. You don't want her to make the same mistake again, especially given all the sacrifices you made the first time she made this mistake with a wrong un.
Yeah.
I think what doesn't help is, as the audience, we know that Sonny's all right. You know, and but you can't. It's hard to remember really that the characters don't know that really. They can still be quite. You know, they've not seen everything we have. Do you know what I mean? So, in Harper's defence, she's right to be cautious and she's right to give that advice. What bugged me then was later in the week when they're on the night out. She palmed that baby off again, hasn't she? Twice again by the end of the week.
I know.
Honestly, I'm going to ring Docs next week if she does it again.
I told you she didn't want this baby. I told you, didn't I?
She's done nothing but give it a, get babysitters.
Oh, I need a night off. My God, it's only been 3 weeks.
She's had 3 nights out since last Monday. I've got a tally here.
I'm going out for dinner again.
She's had more nights out than I've had all year.
In a little strappy top, back to her normal clothes. It's unbelievable. Yeah. No milk stains, nothing.
Get nothing past us, Dal. So, they're at this meal, aren't they, on another night out? And then she's obviously saying she's trying to get her mind off it. And Dana's I'm being all dramatic, and everything reminds me of Sonny, and I made a mistake, and da da da. Yeah. And he's everywhere I go, and he walks in. But Harper's really laying at this point. I thought she overstepped the mark. I thought, give your advice, have your opinion, but at the end of the day, Dana's an adult, and at this point, she's full on giving her death stares, having a go at her, chasing her, interrupting conversations between her and Sonny on the balcony.
Sort of kiss, almost kiss.
Yeah. To me, that's over the line, and everyone's been very critical of Leah of late for doing similar things with Theo and Lacey, and I don't think this is any different in my book.
No,
it's a family member who's an adult, who's capable of making her own mind up, good or bad or ugly or what. You've said your piece. It's on her now. Do you know what I mean? Am I being too?
No, I think it's very similar to Leah. You know, the dynamic is kind of the same, to be honest. You know, Lacey's the baddie, Sonny's the baddie, Leah's trying to keep Theo away. Harper's trying to keep Dana away. I think it's very, and yet you're right. I guess Leah's been way more aggro about it. And way more harassing and that kind of thing. Harper's a bit more low key, but she has overstepped the mark, and we should be shouting at her equally as much as we are shouting at Leah.
Yeah,
they're both doing it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
You can draw parallels because I think it is the same behaviour. We're reacting to it differently. I think because I think Leah's just being way more full on about it.
It's interesting, isn't it? You know how we let people off and we don't let others off sometimes.
Yeah,
trying to get into that psychology of the fan base. We'll be here all day. But yeah,
do you think? I know, right? Do you think it's possibly to do with the fact that maybe we've not bought Lacey and Theo's relationship as much as we're buying into Sonny and Dana's, and actually we're more kind of egging on the Dana Sonny thing more than we are the Lacey Theo thing.
Do you know what? I think you may have just ka-chinged it. I think you might be onto something there.
Because if you want to see something, you're kind of like, well, I'm not going to be mad about these two getting together, and I'm not going to agree with Harper as much or whatever.
Yeah, because even when Dana doesn't heed the advice, creeps over to the apartment in the middle of the night for some rampy. Didn't hate it. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't hate it.
But Lacey comes over with her duffel bag from the hostel, and I'm like, oh, rack off.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah, we're not buying it, are we yet? Whether we will in time, we might do. We might ship them, but I'm just not feeling it. It's just, I think it's the L word, the premature L word for me has ruined this a little bit because I'm like,
cringe.
This isn't love, and
feels
the whole
forced.
Move in with me. Like he's literally like, oh, this is your, as much as your place as it is mine. It's Bree's house. He's only just been allowed to stay there.
Bree's house has become the drop-in centre that we wanted
for the waifs and strays. I know she's the new Irene, actually. Bless her. She's got the beach house, and she's now got all the waifs and strays moving in.
She's got all the youth on a couch.
Which I think is very cool of her because she's let the guy that kissed her behind her boyfriend's back move in with her before she's moved in with her boyfriend. I have thoughts about that. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't think I'd be as cool about that as Remy has been. But there we go.
I know. Yeah, he's very trusting, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, I think you can trust Brie. I just think Sonny. Anyway, we know.
Brain the size of a pea, said it himself. So maybe he's too dumb to try it twice, maybe.
Probably.
But yeah, so
Lacey and
what did you make of
together? Not sure.
Yeah, going to auntie and uncle's for dinner. What did you make of the dinner party?
Oh, that was the cringiest thing I've seen in a while. It was awful. Oh, I was cringing the minute she turned up at the place, actually. When she rocked up and she was like, can I come in and talk to you? And I was thinking, just leave him alone. Like, he's only just got out of hospital. She's so, like, she can't leave it for a minute, can she? She's so controlling.
No.
I think if it was me, I'd have given him time to miss me. Like, give him time to live on his own, have to do his own stuff, have to pick up after himself, have to, live on takeaways or whatever for a little while. And then he'll come crawling back to Auntie Leah if he wants to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give him a chance to miss you. But no, she's round there straight away. Hi, can I come in? Do you want to come for dinner? Oh, I guess Lacey can come as well. I was thinking this is going to be awful.
Yeah, I was, and I thought it's going to be fake as, which it kind of was. Well, halfway through it, I couldn't read it. I was like, is she genuinely deciding to do? Because it was like a complete personality transplant.
Apologized.
Yeah, and I was thinking she's either. Because she's doing this it's way too brazen to be fake. I was thinking, surely not. But no, yeah, she was just putting it on, wasn't she, hoping for the best. This, to me, is like a bit of a confused, struggling to let go, empty nester type storyline.
Yeah.
But it's just gotten way too confused because Leah's the way she is. I think if this was like, he's growing up and he wants to go and, I don't really like some of the decisions he's making. I'm not too keen on the girlfriend. And and then Justin saying to her, you've got to trust him, and he'll knows he's always got a home here. And I know this is, really thing to go through, but it's part. He's not going to be here forever. It's supposed to be that kind of story, isn't it?
I think
But
so.
instead, it just looks like Leah is completely trying to control an adult man. And I think the message has got a bit mixed.
Yeah.
Am I being polite? I don't know, but
no, I think you're right.
yeah.
I think it does have a tinge of it's a bit desperate, isn't it, on her part? And
yeah.
And
do you know what the big thing is with it is? She has her own son that lives on the other side of the world, and none of this is bringing up any feelings about that.
Not even mentioned him, actually, has she?
And I don't want to be one of those guys that always, what about VJ? What about this? What about that? But actually, if she is genuinely feeling like, he's growing up, he's moving out, and I'm going to miss him, it'd be quite natural for her to think, this is how I felt with VJ. This is happening to me again. Even if she wants to make it about herself, I totally understand it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be understandable then. It'd be something to go, okay, well, this is why she's acting like this. I mean, I have to give credit to Justin this week because normally, I'm sort of screaming at Justin because I'm like, oh my God. But actually, he stood up to her really well this week and I was actually really proud of him because he said to her...
Because we were rowing with her.
He literally shouted it in her face, didn't he? And I was like, whoa. Like, he doesn't stand up to her very often. But when he did, he really made his point this week. And I think it did get in her head. I was actually kind of impressed with him for doing that this week. I will give him some kudos for that. Did you agree with him?
Yeah, I did. I thought he handled it well. I think what he's managed to do with his rapport with Theo, he's managed to keep Theo on side just enough so that Theo is still open to a relationship with Leah. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
I think it wouldn't have been. I don't think it'd have been resolved so much if it wasn't for Justin. Actually,
that's true. Yeah, she needed to hear it, didn't she? Because I think without him shouting at her, she was at risk of doing something really to push him away even more. I think
put her in a place a bit, didn't it?
Yeah,
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think without that kind of grounding from him, she probably could have gone off the handle and made it worse and made Theo want to run away even more. So
yeah, I agree.
I was kind of glad it nipped it in the bud a bit, to be honest.
Well, I think I am, but I think it's going to unravel this because I think because this job she's offered her.
Oh yeah, that's to keep tabs on her, isn't it?
Well, keep your enemies closer, they say, don't they?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We're learning dribs and drabs about Lacey as well now.
Oh yeah.
Her mum's died. It looks like there's a bit of a story there because she's estranged from her family. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, she said something like, "There's nothing to talk about. They're not very interesting. They're boring, aren't they?" And then she said something about when Leah was nice to her in the diner. She said she reminded me of my mum, and then Theo went, "Is that so bad or whatever?" And she went, "Yeah, because she's dead." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." So what do these two talk about for a start? Anyway,
I know you got to this point.
I love you, but didn't even know your mum was dead.
Yeah. Will you move in? Oh, you don't have any. You don't have a house.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Literally unbelievable.
So, yeah. Unbelievable. Now, listen, there was a massive mystery woven through this week on Home and Away. Huge mystery. Who told Eden's dad?
Oh, Jesus Christ. On a bike.
Was it you? Wasn't it, Sophie?
I wish it was. Because I want his number. I want to tell him everything. I'm going to be like, she's over the road. She's talking to Cash. She's getting the mail. I'm going to text him every time she moves and breathes. As soon as it winds her up so much. Oh my God, this was so pathetic. Family Fowler family, whatever this is, was, this week killing me.
Yeah. This was difficult. And we had to sit and watch her go around the entire clan for her to realise it's your mother.
I was screaming at the TV. It's Debs. It's blatantly Debs. Because I've got a theory. Because obviously, when she was, they were at the engagement party last week, and she mentioned, my husband leaving me was actually the best thing that could have happened to me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, that's a turnaround, because Eden's not forgiven him, and yet you're saying it's the best thing that could have happened. And then she made a side swipe at what's the name? Imogen's really boring. And I was like, that's really harsh. Like, this woman's been cheated on. She knows what it's like to be, have the other woman run off with her fella, which is what Mac's done essentially. I thought it was a bit weird last week, what Debs was saying.
Yeah.
Then this week, when we found out Debs is the one that's been talking to Dad, and obviously Debs called Dad immediately after finding out about Abby's drug addiction problem and got him to come round, and they ended up doing like a bit of a weird intervention with it or something. I was like, why is she in contact with Dad? So we've been told for ages, since the Fowlers came on screen, Levi is in contact with the dad because he sided with the dad. The girls live with the mum. Eden won't even look at her dad because he came to the bay once, didn't he? And she wouldn't even sit with him and have a beer with him. And she's like, she went crazy because Cash shook his hand in Salt.
Yeah.
And met him and stuff, and introduced himself to her. So I was like, this is so pathetic. But Mum is okay with it. Mum's sitting in a room with him, being really civil. And I was thinking, I've got an off the wall theory here, but is Dad
Don't
moved
say
on?
it.
Has Dad moved on with someone else, and now Mum is the other woman? Is Mum the affair? Is he having another affair, but with his ex-wife? Because there's something odd going on here.
Yeah, or that is definitely an option, which I do like, I must say, but because drama.
Yeah.
Or is it just that it's ancient history for everybody else, and why is Eden still acting like she's 15 and hurt by her parents? Do you know what I mean? We've sort of alluded to this on our discussions about Eden and her child, her hang up on her parents' marriage in the past, haven't we? We've discussed quite a few times about it seems a little silly to be talking like this about it. It's so hurtful, still after all this time. Is it just that it is ancient history to everybody else, and Eden's the only one that won't get over it? You know what I mean?
No, I just find it really weird because I don't know about you, but if somebody I didn't like was texting me, if someone I didn't like said, "Oh, I heard you got a new job or whatever, congratulations," and I was like, "How do they know?" Like, I don't want to get them. I just ignore them.
Well, do you know what I would? If I got that text, Sophie, I would think it's one of these scammers pretending to be a family member.
Can you wire me some money?
They go, Dad, this is yeah, Dad, this is my new money. This is my new number. I've had my phone nicked. And then they've got Dad on the hook. That's what I think.
Maybe it is that. Oh dear, maybe it is that. But
yeah, maybe next week Dad's texting her asking her to wire him some money.
I'm stuck abroad and my passport's been stolen and I've got no credit card, and if you could just wire me some money to this bank account and I'll pay it back as soon as I get back.
The Western Union in Bangkok.
Seems legit. Yeah. Typical Dad.
Yeah. He's at it again.
He's always losing his passport in Bangkok. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's definitely an option. Don't write it off just yet. I'll write it down, don't worry.
It's an important issue-based storyline. Very, very of the time.
Oh dear.
Now, speaking of your phone, Levi's after charging his this week, and he's gone down for the old extension cord under the bed, hasn't he? And he's found some leaflets about cardiology, heart attacks, and pregnancy, and all sorts of stuff that Max obviously obtained without his knowledge, given that he's also her doctor and sperm donor. So he gets a little upset about it, doesn't he? I'm like, phones her when she's at work, and he's like, "You need to come home for a cuppa and a chat." I'm thinking, is this not something that could wait till a day off?
Exactly. Or when she gets home from a normal shift.
Yeah, this isn't like,
Can you imagine having a partner that calls you at work and says, "You need to come home and have a chat with me right now. Like, you need to drop everything." You'd be like, piss off.
We've had a takeaway menu posted through. Get home so we can read it. I'd never be at work.
Exactly. You'd be fired. Oh, these
Every
people.
time we watch, oh,
or turn up at your work. A lot of these lot turn up at people's work while they're in the middle of the shift. They go, "We need to talk. Can you take a break?" You're like, "No, this is not real life." Oh dear, it's so funny. I love it.
So she's been doing a bit of research, hasn't she, based on all her ailments and her past, and there's a little bit of a reluctance for her to want to speak to him. They have this chat, don't they? Of, I just wanted some advice. I felt a bit, about going to you. I felt a bit more comfortable speaking to somebody else. And she says, but that's not all. I did miscarry. I had an ectopic pregnancy. We all remember, don't we?
We talked about this a while ago, didn't we?
Yeah. Of course, that means it might be difficult for us. I mean, she could have mentioned. She could have mentioned it before, but it is what it is. It's the way she's dealt with it, and this is the hand that Levi's been dealt. But he doesn't really. Was it just me? But because he went into sort of doc mode. Right, yes, this is going to be very difficult for you now to conceive, and this may not happen, and you need to be prepared for this. I'm thinking, give her a hug.
Yes. Yeah, and also have some feelings about it yourself, because it's your baby we're talking about, not your patient's baby that's hypothetical. It's it's your long-term partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with that's telling you this may not happen for us, and how do you feel about that? Like,
don't just give her more leaflets about tests.
I know. I guess when you are a doctor, it would be really hard to separate that kind of thought pattern, though, because even if it is you're privy to information that other people may not be, and you're already sort of thinking it through on that level, aren't you? So but it would have been
especially super doc, because he can do everything.
Obviously he's not just a heart surgeon. He's not just a heart surgeon.
Now, what about that line where she's opening up to him? Because I was thinking of you, because I just know Sophie's reaction to this. When she's opening up to him, she's like, I didn't want to tell you because, he wants his own biological children with a woman he loves. And I was thinking, he didn't want children 3 weeks ago.
No, and he didn't want them.
Never even crossed his mind.
No.
This was a you thing, Mac. What? I thought she's going to end this relationship here. Because she can't give him back. And I thought, whoa, girl, this was you spearheading this plan.
Yeah, it was. It was all based off one trip away when she came back and spent some time with her niece, or
the trip where she was carjacked and nearly killed and set alight in
a cornfield. So romantic. Yeah, imagine telling the kid that. When did you decide that you wanted to have me? Well, it's a funny story. Tractor involved, cornfield. Your auntie Ziggy was there. Anyway, moving on. Oh God. Yeah, you're right. It was her sort of thought pattern. As far as we're aware, they hadn't discussed having kids up until this point. We'd seen him discuss having kids with Imogen, and he wasn't keen. But maybe that's because he wasn't keen on the relationship and all that stuff. So maybe we're not. He can change his mind. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's allowed.
But up until a couple of weeks ago, he didn't really seem to have a plan for having biological children, and not being with someone that couldn't provide an heir to the throne. And now it seems to be a breaking point thing for the relationship, which
odd, isn't it?
Seems a bit ridiculous, but
it does, just a bit.
Yeah.
So, difficulties conceiving, we called it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Called it. It was 2. We couldn't have another one. We knew Mac's history. This was a pretty predictable inevitability, I would say. It'll be interesting now to see the strain on the relationship, because as things go, when you look at relationships like Marley and Abs, for example, like these guys haven't really had too much conflict or strife.
Yeah.
Other than, after the affair, obviously.
If they did,
they've had a pretty easy one.
Aimed at both of them, rather than them two arguing. It was them versus the Bay at the beginning. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And they were I think
was.
that made them quite tight because everyone was really anti their relationship when they first started. They weren't fighting with each other about it particularly, were they? They were just getting on with it and falling in love. So you're right. Like, whereas Abby and Marley at each other's throats every 5 minutes, we've not seen that with Mac and Levi. They've been pretty tight, haven't they, so far?
They have. So this will be interesting to see what, and whether we'll,
Grace now.
whether we'll want to watch it. So yes, we shall see.
Oh, you're filling me with dread now, Si, because I'm thinking we're gonna have another couple at each other's throats on screen, and we've got enough of that at the moment.
Well, I'm thinking already she feels like she can't give him something that he wants.
Yeah.
And that is not going to not have an effect, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So,
I mean, she was already crying when she didn't get the positive pregnancy test the first time around, wasn't she?
I know.
She'd already kind of had a breakdown about that and fell into his arms and was like, I can't get pregnant. And he was like, we've just been trying for a week, like, chill out. Yeah,
I didn't even finish Doll. You
stop it.
You called it last week, didn't you? Last week, you were saying, I'm trying to go on. You called it last week, didn't you? Saying that, what did you call last week?
I don't know. I don't remember last week at all. I should have stopped at 2 glasses of wine, but anyway. What did I call last week? I don't remember.
I don't know. Something to do with Mac and Levi. I don't know.
Don't remember.
We'll remember it and then not be able to re-record it. So you'll have to guess, dear listener.
You tell us. You listen to last week's episode and tell us what the blank was. Because I don't remember. Oh dear.
Right. We mentioned Abby and Marley. Let's talk briefly about them because, like I say, I felt like because they were in and amongst a lot of album stuff, which I'm not even going into. I'm going to be honest. They actually stood out as the thread that I was more interested in seeing what happened, and it was something that I felt something about. I would say more than anything, and because she's back in town and they're doing this sort of, I shouldn't have done that. Abby actually takes some ownership, which I'm glad about because right at the top, I needed to hear that from her because last week I was saying to you, I heard both sides, both were in the wrong, but I felt like she handled it appallingly. And the fact that she came back to town and was like, I was in the wrong and I could have done it better. I was quite proud of her for, so I was happy that she did that, and she got me back again. I no longer had fallen out with her, and she stays. But like we said, her mum wants to sort her out, wants her to go back home. In first look last week, we're like, I bet her mum wants her back.
Yeah.
And Marley's like, but your mum's the person your mum wants to help isn't you anymore. You've come a long way. I thought that was a really nice pep talk from Marley. I thought it's something that she probably needed to hear. She's just spent 3 or 4 days with her mum, telling her what a failure she is, and dad. To be fair, and she's saying that there was some big intervention, telling me everything that's wrong, what a fuck up I am. I think her coming back to town to someone that she's managed to find some sort of, despite all the arguments, there's something between them. And the first thing he does, he's still supportive despite how her ghosting him and all sorts for days, putting him through all that for days. I thought he was a bit of a bigger person, and I thought she was as well. So I was quite happy for that for the moment. But of course, she's making arrangements to leave for quite a while. She's taken 2 months off work. She's packing a suitcase, and she's not told Marley. She lost me as fast as she won me over again.
Yeah, this was pathetic again. This was part of my Fowler family drama that I didn't have time for this week, I'll be honest. Eden being a child about her dad sending her a text message was one thing, but Abby trying to run away without telling anybody, Mum, the taxi's here, I've got to go, and she's like packing her bag and like trying to do it all before Marley gets home, and like you say, she's been ghosting him all week, not answering his text messages, and she he was saying, I've been texting her, I've been trying to get information out of her, I just got a shrug emoji back. I thought, well, that's rude. And then he's trying to talk to her when she comes back and managing to get through to her a little bit, but then she's still packing a bag and trying to run off without not even telling Levi or anybody. Just
no.
I thought
She
that was
was
really
never going
pathetic.
to. I do, and all the nice things that Marley said to her, the reassurance he gave her, that you're safe here, you know this is home.
Yeah.
For her to then she was going to go and she was going to not return his calls again.
Yeah.
Does he deserve that?
No, I don't think anyone deserves that. I'm not a massive Marley fan. You know that. Everybody that listens to the pod knows that. But he didn't deserve that. Nobody did. Nobody deserves to be just left and just to guess, because he'll be sitting there thinking, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And actually, this time, I don't think he did anything wrong. He did stuff wrong last week, definitely, but so did she. But this week, I can't fault him for what he's done this week, and I don't think it's his fault that she was running away.
No.
I don't really get this, Si, I'll be honest.
I don't understand why he's still entertaining this now.
Well,
because for me, this would be a deal breaker. I'd be like, do you know what? If you go, don't bother coming back. I know that's like so cliche, but I'm a so cliche. I'd be like, I'm sorry. After everything you've just put me through, you were going to go and not tell me. I at least deserve an explanation. You've not even asked me to come with you. You've not even. We're supposed to be a couple, right? Your decision isn't even. I'm not even part of the decision of you doing it.
No, exactly. That's the thing that makes me cross, is that she didn't say, Mum's asked me to go and stay with her for a bit longer. So that
what do you think?
I don't really want to go, but I feel like I have to, because I feel like I want to make it up to her. And they've spent 2 days telling me I feel like I'm a piece of shit, and I feel like a piece of shit because they've spent days telling me that. So I feel like I've got no choice. If I did go, would you still be here when I got back? I don't know how long I'm going to be gone for. How would that affect us? But she's not mature enough to have that conversation, and it's again reminding us that I think she's too young for him, and they don't actually work, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe, we mentioned it last week, didn't we, about, perhaps this is a relationship that's not supposed to work, and that's why there are so many obstacles. That eventually there's going to be an obstacle so big that there's just no going back. And I think I'm convinced now that you were right about that. So that this is who they're meant to be, because not all couples are the same. And I think the sooner you're at peace with that, I think the more you can sort of go with what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that's helped me this week. After having that chat with you, that's helped me digest the goings on this week. You know.
There is that couple, though, isn't there? You do know them. You've got that couple in your friendship group, or you've had that couple in your friendship group, where all they do is fight and break up and make up, and fight and break up and make up, and that's just who they are. And then when they break up again, you're like, is it permanent this time? Like, can I slag him off now and say he's a
I know.
Or are you going to get back with him on Friday?
Not falling for that again. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen with them. And that's just, some people are just like that. And it's that push-pull, that power struggle. It tends to happen. I don't know whether it's so much this kind of dynamic, but it tends to happen when a couple are quite similar and they both kind of want to take the reins on the relationship, and what they're sort of that power struggle of who wears the trousers kind of thing. Whereas I don't feel like that's what we've got with Marley and Abs. I just feel like there is if there's not an age gap physically, which I think there is, to be honest, but there's definitely an age gap emotionally and mentally. And that's a chasm, I think.
It is. It's huge. You're right. And it's even displayed even more when he's gone to work, like thinking she's going to go, like, and they're going to leave it on this again. And she goes to see him, and then she's just like, well, we'll do long distance. She doesn't even understand what she's doing, or, the effect, or the sort of how big this is that she's doing to somebody. She just thought, we'll do long distance, it'll be sweet. And then I got really annoyed because Marley even still is on board and he's supporting her. And I'm thinking, you're crossing into mug territory now, lad, because there comes a point where you are just a doormat now. Like, all he has done is speed up something that she was going to have to face at some point. She was never not going to find out, Debs.
Yeah.
Right? All Marley has done, okay, we got into the wheres and hows last week. It came about, right? But now everyone knows cards are on the table. Now's the time where you're going to have to take charge of your life, girl. She's decided to just regress into childhood even more and then be the baby of the family and do what she's told. And Marley's got no control. He's got no say in it. It's happening to him as well, but he's got absolutely no input with. And even then he still says he'll support her whatever she decides.
Yeah.
Give it a rest. This guy doesn't deserve that, and she doesn't deserve him.
No, I mean, it's difficult because I don't think they're a very good couple, and yeah, I don't know, but even though I don't really like Marley, I can see your point. I don't think she's treating him very well. I don't think he needs to put his life on hold. She didn't even ask him. She didn't even say to him, "Are you okay with long distance? If I go and see
will you wait?"
Yeah. I'll understand if you want to break up because I don't know when I'm coming back and I don't know when you're going to see me. And you know what? I might not even text you for a few weeks because I'm a bit of an arsehole. Like, she didn't even have that conversation with him. And I thought that was harsh. It's like, oh, we'll do long distance. Well, how does he feel about that? Does he want to? That's not what he signed up for, is it?
No.
1 minute they're living together, next minute he's moving out because they can't live together and work together and all that stuff. She's getting a new job. Like, there's just this constant push-pull between them, and I don't get it.
Yeah. Annoying, isn't it?
It is annoying.
And she isn't coming out of it smelling of roses.
No.
In my book.
Is she really going, though? Like...
Don't know. I really don't know. It's strange, isn't it? Because it seems a bit odd to do that. It's a long time as well. So soon after becoming established.
Yeah. It's odd because I don't feel like she's a guestie. I don't feel like this is over. I don't feel like they're, we're never going to see her again. I don't know. It just feels a bit strange, this.
Yeah, it does.
I'm kind of expecting her to come back and say, I was wrong and I'm sorry, or I don't know. Or Eden or Levi to step in and say, you don't have to. I mean, Levi did try, didn't he? He did sort of say, you don't have to do what your mum tells you anymore. You are your own person and you've come a long way. And, being in the Bay is really good for you, etc. I think Marley said the same thing, really. I don't think Eden's really said much to try and persuade her. Does she even know that? She just said, I want a couple of weeks
she's
off work.
too busy planning a wedding.
That's true.
Winding John up.
I did like that, though. That was funny. Watching him
squirm. Vision. The vision. Starts with a vision.
Mood board, mood board.
So Eden's a bit preoccupied with love, and you can let her have a moment, But yeah, these two, I'm really cross, and it's to the point where she's gonna have to do something big to win me back round now, because I'm not. I'll keep falling for it.
Right, Si. I need to talk to our lovely listeners for a minute.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna break the wall down and talk directly to our lovely listeners, because excitingly, we've picked up quite a few new listeners in the recent months, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. Yes, we're busy bees at the minute.
Yeah. We've picked up a few new people, so welcome newbies, and thank you for listening, Uru. We appreciate all of you. Obviously, appreciate everybody that listens to the podcast, whether you've been with us since the beginning, or God bless you, or you've recently joined us. So, and this segment that we're about to talk about, it's all about you guys. So we really appreciate you and your input into this as well. So just wanted to say a little hello and welcome. Also, because we have had some newbies, I think it's a good opportunity for me to explain how the tweet along works. And also this segment of the pod that we're going to do right now, which is called Your Say on the Bay, just explain how that works as well. So apologies for those of you that already know this and have been around for years.
Right.
But let's talk to the newbies and explain what's going on. So Coastal News Podcast, that's us. We watch Home and Away at 5-star first look pace, which is between 6:30 and 7 p.m. Monday to Friday in the UK. And during this time, one of us, either Si or myself, will be on Twitter. We go onto our Coastal News Pod account and we tweet along using the hashtag Home and Away UK, and we talk to anyone else who's also watching the show online. tweeting along at the same time. And we just talk about what's happening right now, the storylines, the characters, all of that shabazz that's happening right now. So we use the UK hashtag to avoid any Ozpace spoilers because there are loads of them.
Yes.
So if you want to talk about Ozpace, just a friendly reminder to use the home and away hashtag, not the home and away UK hashtag. If you want to talk about Ozpace, that's absolutely fine, but we're trying to avoid spoilers on the UK hashtag. So between 6:30 and 7 p.m, what we're doing is we're online talking to people on Twitter using that home and away UK hashtag. And what I'm doing is looking for people's reactions, people's opinions about the storylines that are happening this week, the characters, etc. And I'm also picking comments to read out at the end of our podcast in this section called Your Say on the Bay. So if you're not tweeting along during that time, 6:30 till 7, and you want your comment to be possibly included on here so that we can discuss it, then you can also email us, which is coastalnewspod@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts about this week's action. But can I please nicely ask that you don't DM us? So I'm happy for you to jump on and send the pod account a message on Twitter by using the hashtag, etc. But don't DM us, especially not on our personal social media accounts, because we probably won't see them in time to get your comments on Your Sound the Bay. Because we work full time basically, and the podcast unfortunately is just a hobby. And during the day we're doing our day jobs. So if you're going to DM us, we might miss it because we're only checking the pod account and the hashtag during the 6:30 till 7 slot at night. So
we don't want to miss anyone, do we?
We don't want to miss anything. Yeah. So if you're not around for the tweet along, send us an email. Otherwise, I'll try and pick up your comments during that time. It's not that we're ignoring you; it's just that we're not getting around to it. That's all. So in terms of what we're interested in, obviously the good and the bad, tell us what you're enjoying this week. Tell us what you're not enjoying this week. Tell us what you think of our thoughts, because obviously we're tweeting along. We're telling you what we think of what's happening. And also we talk about it for a good 2 hours on here every week, don't we? So if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, our say on the bay, tell us. Does Si have a point about Marley, or does he need therapy? I want to know. Answers on a postcard.
Excuse me?
Answers on a postcard. I'm pretty sure it's the latter. But
yeah, but not for that reason. For many others,
it's just the last straw, Dal. The last straw before I call the doctors.
Back.
Absolutely. So that's all welcome. We don't want to miss anybody. So just to give you an idea of how we look for comments and how we interact with people. Also, a friendly reminder: negative comments about an actor's personal appearance or decisions about enhancing their natural beauty, you know what I'm talking about, we're not going to read those out on the pod. So, you can say it, but we're not going to read it out, is what I'm saying, basically. So, have I missed anything? Have I covered a whole...
No, that sounds quite clear.
The whole shebang?
I'll be tweeting you, don't worry. On the hashtag. Not in the DM.
Not in the DMs, because we're not going to read them.
Message understood.
Yes. Right. So this is the segment called Your Say on the Bay, and I've been digging through social medias, and I've been doing all the stuff that I've just said, and I'm going to read out some of the comments that I've picked out. So just a quick reminder, we're also on social media, as I mentioned before. So we are Coastal News Podcast at Coastal News Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, and Blue Sky. Please try and choose a platform to message us on, because some of you are sending me the same message on multiple platforms, and it's causing a lot of work to compile Your Say on the Bay when it's actually just the same sort of message on all of them. So yeah, if you can try and pick a social medias, that'd be great. I just don't want to miss anything. So yeah, we talked about the tweet along, and if you don't do social medias, you can email us coastalnewspod@gmail.com. So we have had some emails this week.
Fabulous.
Shall we get on to the emails? So I'm going to read out an email from Sam, but actually I think it's more, and he hasn't put the name of his partner, so I don't know who to account to this, you'll say, but he's talked about his partner who doesn't really watch the show, but is obviously, we're aware of this from having long-suffering partners. She sits in the same room as Sam when watching the show.
Oh, a familiar sight, Sam.
Yes, and apparently looked up during the Eden Cash proposal recently.
Oh, yeah.
And said, why isn't she recording an album? Because she's loads better. You know, she did the song for Cash, didn't she, at the at Gary's house? And Sam says, it got me thinking, whilst Kirby has a very nice voice, I do think Eden sounds more like a recordable artist, and her song for Cash is gorgeous. Now, we've been saying this for a while on the pod.
Yes, we have actually. That's probably quite a nice way of saying it without sort of being rude about Angelina.
I think Angelina's got a great voice, but I think of the two, when you compare them side by side, personally, I prefer Eden's.
Yeah, I do as well, and I think the song is better.
That helps. That does.
Yeah, and I think obviously different style of voice is suited to different type of music. I think that's quite a good assessment and a polite way of saying it.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah,
definitely. Yes, definitely.
I would agree with that sentiment.
I think it's something that we've seen quite a lot of comments saying similar as well.
It's not new information, is it? Others have drawn the same conclusion.
Yes, it's probably since Song for Cash came out, whenever that was, last year sometime. Yeah, or maybe it was before that. Actually, I can't remember, but yeah, a while ago. I've got an email from Emma T, regular emailer as well. Hello, Emma. Emma says, hi, Sophie and Si. Well done on having a second podcast. Thanks, Darl. Thanks for noticing.
Thank you. Yeah, hope you're enjoying it.
Thanks for noticing.
People have been really nice about it.
Yes.
It's been well received. Thank you.
Definitely. Now, Emma's got some thoughts about this week's drams. She says, Leah, she's a bit crazy and possessive over her nephew. Are Home and Away making Leah into a Greek mama, like head of the family, or are they going down the menopause route? Ooh. Wow. Oh, the M word. I don't know.
Every single character above a certain age gets slapped with the M.
It's plausible, isn't it? But
it is, and it would be a topical story.
Definitely. It's not out of character for Leah, though, is it? She's always been quite fiery, and
I think so. Yeah. I think I was alluding in the main podcast, wasn't I, to a bit of an empty nest syndrome type thing. I think that's where I'm leaning.
Yes.
But yeah, she is being rather full on, and yeah, if you can spot that in Leah, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Emma does say herself that she thinks it's out of character for her to have these drops, and I think I would have agreed with Emma until I met with you.
Oh no!
You turned my head, because I used to think Leah was great. And it wasn't until you said to me, oh, actually, look a bit closer, doll, you know, and she's this and she's that. And I was like, oh, I see it. Actually, she's a bit problematic. So, you know, Emma's there saying out of character. And I would have agreed with you, Emma, in the past. But now I'm like, actually,
she's been ruined.
I've had my eyes opened. Yeah, interesting though, because obviously she thinks it's out of character. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, typical Leah. So, yeah. Emma also says, OMG, H&A should have put Kirby and Marley together because they're both so moody. I can feel you ready to defend Marley. Are you? Are you going to defend him?
Continue.
Okay. Yeah. H&A are really
There are no words.
There are no words. You just agree, don't you, basically? She says, H&A are really mucking with Kirby's personality. I much prefer bubbly Kirby. Yes.
Yeah, she's been a bit I think she's obviously, because she's passionate about this second go around with her to say things about, spending his money. I think it's all the pressure. It's supposed to be the pressure, but it is difficult to see that. I can't see the wood amongst the trees when it comes to Kirby lately.
No, it's difficult, isn't it? And because we've seen this storyline before, it's
no one really gives a crap.
We've been here, haven't we? We've been there, done there, bought the t-shirt. Didn't buy the album, but we bought the t-shirt.
Only one copy, weren't they? Remy's got it.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, part of that comment is that there's a little brackets on this comment. So she said, I much prefer bubbly Kirby. In brackets, just like near the end of First Look Friday. It was what happened on First Look on Friday for Kirby, the bubbliness. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's obviously something specific, but I don't remember the scene. So I'll have to, cast my mind back. I don't know whether I watched the end of the first look on Friday. Actually, they're probably the trailer, isn't it? Yeah.
You must have done, but my head's mashed with all the
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Emma also says Tane is being more normal and really nice to see him and Harper being friends. Plus, he finally got to use his martial arts skill to save Theo and Sonny.
Karate!
Karate! That still cracks me up. That's so good. So good. Right, that was the emails. So, looking at Twitter then, everyone was disappointed in the conclusion of the Gage story.
Oh, much like ourselves, a little bit.
Much like
a little bit flat.
Yeah, so we're not the only ones, which is quite, comforting to see. So Julie says, anyone else feel this was all rushed to be over in a couple of episodes? Yeah. It does feel that. It does feel that way. Mr. David says, "Have I missed something? Shouldn't there have been a trial?" We didn't see it, did we? We definitely didn't see it. We heard about it. Yeah,
and it was the quickest trial. What did you say? Quickest trial in known to man.
Known to man. Yeah, definitely. Yes, even for Home and Away, it was swift. Mr. David says it shortchanges the viewers. It's frustrating because we know how bloody good this show can be. That's the kicker, isn't it? We know when Home and Away does something right. We know what they can do. We've seen it.
Yeah.
So when we don't see it, or when we get this sort of swift ending to a storyline, it does feel a little bit like we've been shortchanged. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think they're alone in wrapping something up quick either. No. And we certainly aren't immune to it. I think when you look at this as a whole piece, it was really good.
Yes.
I think a soap audience as well, when we don't end something the way we would, I think you get your back up a bit, don't you?
Yes.
But yes, I think there was a lot of things left unexplained, which doesn't help us all try and accept and process it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Jamie says the timeline of this is insane. Did the Gage trial only take half an hour with Lacey's testimony?
Yeah, we spotted that as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or you did.
It's difficult. And Jamie says we didn't even see the trial. I guess the Perry one was our quota for the next few years. It's true, isn't it? I mean, we've had a few trials. We've had obviously the Perry one we saw. We had the Tane one when he kidnapped baby Jim Bag. And before that we had the Dana Harper Irene one, didn't we? So we've been to the courtroom a few times, but it is a shame that we didn't get to see it again.
And obviously it's when there's costs associated with filming in those locations.
Yeah.
And I think this year we've had Queensland. We've now got
we've got a new set. We've got the bait shop.
Yeah. We've been away somewhere else, but I can't think where. Out in the bush. But that's not going to have too much cost associated with it. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more, there's a lot of location filming. We've been to a lot of things.
Well, the River Boys have had like 3 or 4 different hangouts that we've been to, haven't they? So
yeah. So yeah, there's been a lot of that going on. I suppose you have to pick your moments, don't you, when budget allows, I suppose.
I think it is a direct comparison though, because Jamie mentions we had the Perry trial, because we've seen courtrooms before, we've seen court cases before. When we don't get one, it's like, oh, what happened to that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And plus, we all want to follow that through. We didn't want it to end, so you want to follow it through, and you want that drama to kick on into court, don't you?
Yeah.
When you don't want something to finish, you do want more.
Yeah, and sometimes the court stuff is more interesting than the hospital, and we see the hospital quite a lot, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Definitely. One good thing that came from the end of the Gage storyline was, as Mr. David says, Mary Thor is back.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Mary Thor. Emma Gravy Monster says, thank the gods for that. The proper Tane has returned. Can we not have him being such a creepy weirdo anymore, please? We're talking about the baby obsession, obviously. Because Mr. David says, can we put the brakes on the baby stuff? He's got a child now. Hopefully we'll see some of his old personality coming back.
Do you think this is a Do you agree with that? This sort of signs, glimpses of the Tane of old coming through now?
I saw a couple of glimmers of scenes where I wasn't rolling my eyes at him recently, and it was to do with the River Boys. It was the first of all in the surf club where he stood up for Dana, when the River Boys were trying to intimidate her, and he stepped in, didn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously when he jumped in the car with Cash to go and, help with the rescue of Theo and Sonny as well. I quite like that. I quite liked how he dispatched of these hoodlums
I know you had
in the bush.
One of them was like, oh, a reawakening. It was like I need to put that down.
It was like, this is how I remember Tane. Tane didn't used to be so irritating and so melancholy and boring and baby obsessive. He used to have a personality. He used to have some fire in his belly, and I saw a glimmer of that. Not full Tane, but there was a glimmer. And I think other people are seeing a glimmer as well and hoping this is the start of the new era for his character, I guess. Yeah. Now I'm going to set the tone. So, we talk about the show, that, the overall feeling of the show this week and how we felt about it. Well, normally the tweets and the comments on social media also reflect the tone of the show. And I've got a few sort of comments that will get you ready for the rest of your Sound the Bay. First of all, Jamie says, Jesus, this is a struggle and a half. Goes on to say, baby talk, music arguments, and a couple who shouldn't be a couple. Crazy how much I'm missing Sonny for the laughs, and he's only been on the show a couple of months. Yes. Setting the tone.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Mr. David says, can Irene cook a roast, or can Maz have a bacon sandwich or something? Because this is making me lose the will to live.
Oh, Mad Maz ordering a burger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she forgets she's vegetarian, just craving the meat. But it's the same as what we were saying on the main pod. Other people are thinking this is a bit painful this week, and
Yeah. It was slow, wasn't it? After all the action, it was a bit of a thud.
It was. Yeah.
And like I say, the fact that Marley and Abby actually sort of piqued my interest in the middle of this week says a lot, really, about what was going on around it. Luckily, I felt like it was the Wednesday. I felt like it turned then, and some other stuff started, which was much more interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a sort of Tuesday, Wednesday was a bit ropey there.
It was a bit, it was. Bit of a struggle, as people are saying. Leah controlling the Theo and Lacey relationship has not gone down well with the old tweet-along gang, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what they think. Jamie says, given up is a grown man, Leah, you fruitcake. She is a fruitcake. That is funny.
In a word.
I love how Jamie never minces his words.
Yeah.
He says it like it is. He does this on the Corrie hashtag as well, which always makes me laugh. I enjoy a good old, blunt Jamie tweet. Definitely.
I hope we forgot to say about the soap week thing.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to be doing a bit of tweeting about that next week. So I hope Jamie's on there because it's a lot of Corrie stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely. Jamie watches a few. I think Jamie watches Emmerdale as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it'd be interesting because obviously it's a good opportunity to get together. We'll speak about that another time. But yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Keep your eyes peeled for that next week, guys. Mr. David says, Leah, stop moaning, girly. You're getting on everyone's Whatsits. She's definitely got on my Whatsits. Has she got on your Whatsits?
Yeah. I thought that dinner, I was holding my breath through that blooming dinner because I just thought she's gonna just...
I was waiting for it to kick off though, and it didn't.
I know, but I'm sort of glad it didn't, because especially as the second they arrived, it was like I thought, oh.
Yeah, and there was some like comments from Theo going, "Yeah, my new place," and and I was like, "Oh, this is starting off well."
I mean, and he's also a bit delulu.
I know.
He's kipping on Bree's blooming his bandmates' girlfriends.
Yeah.
Spare bed. Do you know what I mean? Like he's making it out that he's taken charge of his life. He's still under the roof of a woman.
I was going to say he's still being looked after by another adult lady.
Yeah. He's not gone out and forged his own life,
No,
carved his own way, has he?
not-
Let's face it.
Not quite. No, not
I wonder if
quite.
he's still paying this loan, eh?
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, he needs to sell that car really to pay it off. But there we go. You wouldn't want it after it's nearly killed you, would you?
No, he did allude to that, didn't he?
Yeah, it needs to go. It's sitting in Justin's garage at the moment, isn't it? Yes. Mr. David says, I'm on Justin's side here. Never thought I'd say that. Me too. I was praising him this week. I thought he was like standing up to Leah. I thought was brilliant. Mr. David says, normally, Justin is really subservient to us. So I was really surprised by his behaviour.
Him standing up to her was actually one of the highlights of the week, actually.
It was. I actually did a little clap at home. I did a little clappy clap for him because I was like, "Go on, Justin! Yeah, she needs to hear it." And I thought not only did he stand up to her, but his arguments and his eye-opening comments, his truth-telling was actually really, really good for Justin. He made a point, and he made it really well. So
yeah, I agree.
I'm proud. Yeah. David goes on to say, Leah needs a hobby. Personality transplant / baby, something to keep her interfering in other people's businesses. Yes, true. Julie sort of has the same inkling as you. Julie says, do you think it's an empty nest thing because VJ left and she's replaced him with Theo and she likes mothering him?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think it's that as well? Yeah,
I do. There was a bit of a comment about the quiet house.
I felt sorry for Justin when she said that.
I did, but I wonder if that's where it might go with them two.
Yeah.
They've had a lot on since they met, and it's been other people around. What's going to happen to their relationship when it is just them two, going for a beach walk?
That's
calm. True. Can she live that kind of life, or does she need to be busy?
Yeah, running around after other people. Yes. Yeah, true. Yeah, definitely. And now we've had a VJ mention from Julie. Other people have mentioned VJ as well. So Mr. David says, if anyone was wondering why VJ lives on the other side of the world and rarely visits, now we know. Now we know.
Yeah.
And Sarah, 30th floor, says she thinks what Leah needs is to go and visit VJ, actually. Go and pay him a visit because that's what she needs to do. Get out of the bay for a bit and go and concentrate on her own son. So, yeah, that could also be a good argument, actually, that she needs to she does tend to wander off, doesn't she, and go and visit him and the baby every now and again. So
yes, yeah.
Maybe that's where we're going. Maybe we're coming up to one of Leah's annual breaks where she disappears for a bit and leaves Justin behind for some reason.
Cypriot's son.
Yeah, definitely. Could be. And then talking about Theo and Lacey then, as a couple, minus whatever Leah might think of them. Tweety Tie says, are we supposed to believe this is love's young dream? This is the stupidest storyline ever. I don't know why they've gone back to writing Theo like he's a complete idiot, but throw him in the bin. I hate it.
Somebody else who's not quite feeling it then. I don't feel it either.
I've got a feeling Tweety Tie is not a fan. I don't know about you. Read it between the lines. Yeah.
Just a tad.
Just a tad, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have it's sort of here and there. There isn't that. Gosh, I mean, the easiest comparison now is Sonny and Dana. They don't have that will they, won't they, flirty chemistry.
No,
that and their relationship seems to have been founded through something really dramatic.
Yeah, and
I just don't feel this thing between them. He's not even question why she never said the L word back. She's living in a hostel with barely having scenes. Like, it's. I don't think we're supposed to believe it, and if we are supposed to, it's a real bad job.
Yeah, maybe we are supposed to be more empathetic to Leah's standpoint on it.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen them as much as we have with Sonny and Dana. We didn't see, all we've seen is the dirty stuff that I talked about in the main pod, that they were running around behind Gage's back and like stealing kisses and stealing, whatever they could get.
Romps on the bonnet.
Exactly. And we haven't seen the getting to know you feely stuff. We've obviously missed something. So
that's a good point, and I wonder if this will be more about Theo family going back home than than him having a whirlwind romance with a girl above the diner.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, could be, couldn't it? Yes. And as you mentioned, Sonny and Dana, let's talk about Sonny, because Sonny's actually been really popular, and the tweets keep coming in about him as well. So I'll read you a couple of these. So Emma Gravy Monster says, there's a chance that Sonny is absolutely perfect. Please, please, please don't change him. That's high praise indeed.
Yeah.
That's high praise. Jamie says, it's as if Sonny has been on the show for years. That little laugh there with Theo was great. Yeah.
He is good.
He's got some really good scenes. He's got some really good people to have scenes with, hasn't he? These scenes with Theo have been really good. The scenes with Dana have been really good. And obviously with Remy and Eden and the rest of the band and Brie, he's got some good chemistry with a lot of the characters that we see quite a lot on the screen. I think that does help.
Yeah.
And he does seem to be overwhelmingly popular with people.
Yeah. And he's the actor he's sort of naturally brought that little flair to him.
Yeah.
Like he's a good actor.
Yeah.
And I think he's much like we say about Ali Harris and Dana, the fact that she injects that charisma.
Yeah.
I think he's doing exactly the same thing. And I think that's why the chemistry there between the two of them, between the two actors, then allows us to really invest in them as a couple on, the characters on screen. And I think he has a similar charismatic approach to his character, and the fact that he's a bit of an off the beaten track, we didn't know what to make of him at first, did we? Whether he was sort of being truthful or not, that with Mystique was a bit off-putting. But I think now we're all in, aren't we? And he's a cheeky chappy. He's got a bit of something about him. He's got a bit of a weird backstory, and I think the actors bringing that to life really well.
Yeah, he's not afraid to be himself. I think he's not he's not rocked up to pretending to be someone he's not. He's rocked up, exactly how he is, flaws and all.
Yeah, and it's not wooden.
Love. Yeah,
it doesn't feel disjointed. No. Like it feels real. Actually,
it does. Yeah, it does. And I think I agree with Jamie. It does feel like he's been around for a long time, and he's he doesn't feel like a newbie now.
No, he seems to have slotted in real nice, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
In more ways than one.
Talking of slotting, Mr. David's got some wishful thinking still.
Wonder where we were going.
He's saying, I know that that Sonny is with Dana, but I still reckon he's got a thing for Theo. I think it's wishful thinking right now, but I can also imagine it as well. Yeah. So
wish away.
Yeah, carry on wishing. That's all we can hope for. Any of us can hope for.
Theo's perfectly waxed chest that's recently been crushed.
No bruises, doll. Yes, no, absolutely. I know we don't really want to talk about the Kirby Remy stuff too much, but I have got a very funny tweet from Mr. David, which I do want to read out. Okay. So Mr. David says, why does Remy know about producing a record? Wasn't the latest job he had as a busker 2 minutes from his house? You can't argue with that.
No, you can't.
It's so funny. Oh, I love that. And Yvonne says she'll do all that work, meaning Kirby, and then dump it like she did before. Time for a new career move for Kirby. I'm bored of this one. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's deja vu. We've seen it before. Can we get excited about it again? It didn't go anywhere last time. I think last time, up until now, last time was more exciting because we had the record label, we had Forrest, new character unlocked. That was great.
Yeah.
It was more interesting than what we've seen so far with this second time around.
I think in hindsight, it should have worked that.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have she shouldn't have given it up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we're finding it difficult this week, definitely. I tell you what else we're finding difficult this week is Mac and Levi and the pregnancy storyline.
Just pregnancy in general.
Yeah,
very difficult.
Very difficult, yes. Now, Victoria Krankenwagen says, thank God they are bringing up Mac's ectopic pregnancy because a lack of continuity on soaps drives me mad. Yeah, we were talking about this recently on the hashtag. There was quite a few of us, having these conversations before she brought it up with Levi, saying, hasn't she got fertility problems? Didn't she have a problem before? So I think we all kind of breathed a sigh of relief when the show remembered this as well.
Yeah, it was. I noticed there was a couple of comments on one of the forums that I'm on that talks about Home and Away, praising the same thing actually.
Yeah. So thank God they've remembered, because that continuity, that soap history, as we keep banging on every week, really important, especially to us long-term fans. So praise where it's due. The storyline might be driving us up the wall, but at least
it's accurate.
At least we've got the history, and we're bringing it up.
Yeah.
Talking of the history, Tweety Tie says Mac should have brought all this stuff up earlier. A couple of weeks ago, Levi wasn't even sure about having kids.
I said that.
Yeah.
I said that.
I took the words out of your mouth there.
Especially when she was all like, it looked like she was going to try and dump him, and say, I can't give you what you want. I'm thinking, this was you.
Want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was blindsided.
He was. She was the one that was desperate for a baby, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess." I feel like he's been railroaded into it. I do think he wants it. I do believe him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think he's there now. But yeah.
I think it was her driving it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And Tweety Tie goes on to say, "They'll never make me like you, Levi and Mackenzie. Never!" In big capital letters and lots of laughing emojis.
She's withstanding it because she's done a number on us lot. We're saying the best couple these days, most of us on there.
Tweety Tie is quite staunch on her beliefs on Levi and Mackenzie, and I do see quite a few tweets from her on a weekly basis.
It's the affair. You can't forget that. It always lingers.
Yeah, definitely. Sam tweeted us this week and said, "I'm catching up on yesterday's ep with Mac and Levi set for a pregnancy struggle. Don't think this could lead us down another adoption route, could it? Or maybe a Friends-style surrogacy storyline." Possibly.
Yeah. I quite like the idea of surrogacy. Because that's something a tad different. Did we mention this?
I can't remember now.
I feel I would.
I feel like the surrogacy would be more likely than the adoption storyline, just because of the fact that Max said, "You want your own biological children, don't you?" And I feel like that was possibly
biological. Why say
seed.
Biological? So do you know what? I'm going to write that down. Well spotted.
It's planting a seed for us that
both you and Sam.
Yeah, if they were gonna have fertility problems, the biological child bit makes me think surrogacy over adoption, I think. And because we've got fostering, I don't know whether we'd have adoption. I don't know. Possibly.
Well, I'll tell you something now as well. He's got two sisters there with wombs running around the bay.
Oh, God. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, but there we go. Yeah. Oh, braced now. Jesus. I was thinking new character, when you pay a surrogate, that somebody that's going to do it for you. But yeah, you're right. They could have just gone to
biological. My mind's running wild.
No, but what I mean by biological is Levi's sperm, Mac's egg, just in someone else's body.
Yeah. Is there rules against brother's sperm in sister's womb? I know it was on Friends.
No, that's not cool. No, I don't think that's allowed. I don't think you're allowed brother's sperm, sister's egg. No.
No, not sister's egg. Brother's sperm, girlfriend's egg, sister's womb.
I don't think that's a problem because I think that's
it's the basket.
It would be the egg, the sister's egg and the brother's sperm would be the problem.
Yeah, yes. I didn't need help with that bit. Yeah. I meant. Is it still okay if?
Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah, it's just a womb. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little house.
Because the baby wouldn't be the brother and sister's baby. It's not incest.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's okay.
We can climb down.
It's a grey area, but I think it's okay. If anybody has any thoughts on this, then if
send an email.
The legal ramifications of it, then enlighten us. But I think as long as the baby's not related to its parents, both its parents, I think that's okay. Yeah, that's a bit close for home. What about Marley and Abs? Yeah, let's see what people are thinking about this, because we know what we think about Marley and Abs, but let's see if other people agree. So Sam tweeted us this week and said, Marley and Abby is such a hard watch. They argue, pout, make up for a bit, rinse and repeat. I'm so fed up with them.
Yes, you and many others.
So fed up with them.
Yeah.
Sam suggested that maybe the Summer Bay Shark could return during a surf lesson that Marley's giving. It's gotten serious. Yeah, it's gotten that serious. Yeah.
Did you see in the news in Australia this week there was a shark attack up that coast?
No.
And a young boy lost a leg or something.
Oh, Jesus. No, I haven't seen that. Oh, that's horrendous.
It's quite interesting because when we were there, they were talking about trackers and all sorts.
Oh, God. No, that's horrific. I'm glad that didn't happen when we were there. Although we didn't go in the sea, did we? I refused to go in the sea.
Well, I wasn't allowed. I was told off.
Who by?
By the group.
Hey?
I also made a promise to the other app before I went that I wouldn't.
I don't remember you getting told off.
Well, it was like a don't go in the sea. You know, dangerous sea. Don't do this. Australia's dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So before you go, we've got a load of rules.
I didn't even take my shoes off on the sand because I don't trust. You know, the older.
Yeah.
What are they called when they wash up on the sea and you jellyfish things?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I think I did that, didn't I? But
I think you did. You got sand between your toes. Where I was like, no, doll.
Yeah. Because I was like, it's summer bloody bay sand. I was like, when I get this home.
We were going to bring a bottle of it, weren't we? Back, yeah, we didn't do that just in case we got to customs and they decided we were trying to import some biological thing.
And my burger foam was enough of an
that going through the scanner with all these electric wires. Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, that was scary enough. Trying to explain that in Qatar. Good luck. Anyway. Right. Back to Tweetalog. We digress.
Sorry.
We digress. Julie says Marley was right what he said to Abs. She's a different person now. I wonder what her parents are making of her. Yeah. What are they making her do now if she's got to take time off work? Yeah, that's a good question. If she's taking time off work, what is the plan? You know, her mum's obviously sat her down and said, you've dropped out of uni, you've done this, you've done that, failure. Come back and live with me. How is she going to improve her life by getting her to come back? What's the plan?
I think exactly. It was a knee-jerk mother reaction of I want you where I can see you because you know, you're up to no good when I don't know what you're doing, was what I took from it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It was like treating her like a kid.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, bringing her back into the fold and all that. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. And I'm going to end this week's Your Sound the Bay with a worrying theory. Are you ready for this?
More worrying than a sister's baby with a brother.
Probably not that worrying. No. Not that worrying. Not legally. Whatever. Joe Lauren on Twitter has specifically messaged us this week, tweeted us on Twitter and said, "I've got a worrying theory. I think they're going to make Tane and Dana a thing." Yeah. This is based on the hug the other day and him being so concerned.
Oh no!
You know when he turned up to rescue her and Lacey at the side of the road, and there was that hug. I didn't see it as that. I saw it as a family thing because you know they almost were a family when he nearly married her sister.
Yeah, I think I took it the same way as you. I think I was a bit like, well, he feels indebted to Harper. It's the mother of his child. Yeah. It's Harper's sister. That's how I went with it.
And he planned the wedding with Dana.
Let me think about this now.
He planned the wedding with Dana. She had a lot to do, and she was bullying him into making decisions and stuff. They've spent a lot of time together. I don't see it I see it very platonic. I see it as a brother-sisterly kind of relationship. But
I do, and obviously because Dana and Sonny seem to be, albeit you know at the moment it doesn't look like it's, you know, it could be faltering, but because I'm invested in that, maybe that's why I didn't see it. But I'm starting to think what kind of drama we could have between the sisters out of her.
Oh, Jesus.
Sleeping with the man
The
that
demigod.
broke her heart.
Yeah. I tell you what then, shall we put this in the book and stick a pin in it and keep an eye on this worrying theory? I think that's what we should do. Yeah.
Yeah, let's put that on, file that under ongoing concern.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.